Hi, this is Sweet Jew. How's everybody doing today? I'm doing good, but right now I'm a little down in the dumps. Don't really want to go into reasons why, but I'm kind of down in the dumps right now. Just struggling, you know, with some things. So just trying to do the best I can. I got to keep it 100. Just trying to get through these days and do the best I can do, and that's all I can do. Hope everybody's doing all right. Weather up here in Michigan is really crazy. We had a windstorm the other day, and Michigan is a very scary place to live in the winter. I don't care what nobody say. Michigan is a very scary place to live in the winter. Because we get ice storms, it gets really slippery outside. And now that I'm older, I have a big fear of falling because the last time I fell, I hurt my shoulder, and it hurt for a year or two after that. So um, as you get older, falling is harder when you're older. It's not like it is when you're younger. And the older you get, there's more of a risk that you can break something. So I have a huge fear of falling, and there's lots of ice outside. So, well, it's more so in my yard and stuff in my driveway. So I put salt down and everything like that. And so Michigan is just a scary place to be. It's just, and then when we get the windstorms, I have a lot of trees around my house, and branches fall off. And somebody last year, they did a report of someone last year. A tree literally fell on this person's car and killed the person. Yes, Michigan is a scary place in the wintertime. Very scary. So thank God we only got one more month of this mess, and springtime will be around the corner. Then we'll have to worry about tornadoes. That's fun. Anyway, I want to talk about. I know I'm a little late on this topic. Steve Harvey, If you guys caught Steve Harvey and Monique's conversation on his show, might be a little late talking about this. But I was debating on whether I wanted to address it or not. I know that someone else did a video talking about it, and I I think different black people got different, but different black people got different things from that conversation. Um, I know after the show aired, a lot of people was calling Steve Harvey a coon and all this kind of stuff. And Monique came on and made references to him being a coon, and which by the way she shouldn't have done. Um, and I think what I took from the conversation and what some other black people took from the conversation was completely different. Someone else, I can't think of the name of the YouTuber, they did a video talking about it, and I broke it down to what I took from the conversation. And after I wish I could find that. And after I put that on there, it was a pretty long paragraph. Somebody put in my inbox, somebody said, spoken like a true slave. What? Really? So, but this is what I took from the conversation. I thought it was important to address this because um, apparently, like I said, some black people took one thing or another thing from it. Some black people took another. But there's a lot of black people that took came to the same conclusion that I came to. But I'm gonna let you know what I took from the conversation. If you guys, there's a lot, all kind of clips. I don't have uh, I don't know how to edit yet, and I'm gonna learn. So I can't play the clip for you, but if I can, I don't even know if I know how to do links on here, but if I can, I will post a link to the conversation. But if not, there's plenty of people on here that have it. So I'm sorry if I can't provide the clip for you. I wish I could, but I'm going to step up my game and I'm going to learn how to do all that. When I do these kinds of videos, I will provide the clip for you. But anyway, it's a lot of people that's covering the topic, so check it out. Apparently, Monique, you guys, a little history about Monique. I did quite a while back. I did a video about her and the Netflix situation. She wanted everybody to boycott Netflix because they only offered her $500,000 to do a show. They offered Amy Schumer what, $3 million? Don't quote me. I'm not sure, but it was over $1 million. They offered Dave Chappelle and another comedian. Another two black male comedians is Dave Chappelle and was another one. They offered them quite a few. All three of them got offered over $1 million to do shows on Netflix. They only offered her 500,000. So basically, they was basically trying to play her cheap. And I did a video. If you look at my archives, I did do a video talking about that. Should we boycott Netflix? Netflix, I think that was the topic of it. And needless to say, I didn't boycott Netflix. I'm sorry. Sorry, Monique. I didn't boycott it. I didn't have any cable at the time. I didn't have any cable. I still don't have cable, but and you know, my son needed the Netflix to watch movies and things like that. So I didn't cut it off. Sorry, Monique. Sorry. Yeah, it was the only source of entertainment at the time. It was like, anyway, it's all, you know, one of our only sources of of entertainment. So, but it's a lot of black people didn't, and it's another one of the things that Steve mentioned that what was she talking about was a rich people problem, you know, and I don't know. Anyway, this is what I took from the conversation. Steve Harvey was basically telling her that he wasn't disagreeing with her and everything with what she was saying. She apparently got up on stage during one of her comedy routines because she not only has beef with Netflix, but she has beef with Oprah, Lee Daniels, and Tyler Perry. And she got up in one of her comedy routines, and I'm not going to repeat what she said, but it was something derogatory. She said something derogatory about those Steve Harvey. I mean, not Steve Harvey. Oprah Winfrey, Lee Daniels, and Tyler Perry, because she's upset with Oprah because Oprah was talking about. She had a show talking about her sexual abuse, and she brought certain family members on to talk about her sexual abuse, and she apparently didn't consult Monique before she did that. So she's upset with Oprah about that, and Lee Daniels, I think Lee wanted her to promote the movie Precious, but he wanted her to do it for free. He wanted her to go to the Cannes Film Festival, whatever that is, and he wanted her basically to fly over there, pay her own expenses and everything, and to promote the movie for free without paying her anything. So she had issue with him with that. Tyler, not exactly sure as to why she has an issue with Tyler. But anyway, she has an issue with all three of them, and she got up on stage and she said something derogatory towards them. Now, as we know, those are the most three powerful black people in Hollywood. I mean, pretty much because they got a lot of money. And then she wanted everybody to boycott Netflix and so on and so forth. Now, I understand why Monique was upset about being offered $500,000. I agree with her on that, and I agree with her taking a stand on that, because by her being a black woman, it seemed like they was playing her cheap. So I do agree with her on that. But basically, what Steve was telling her, what I took from the conversation, he was trying to tell her that he wasn't disagreeing with that she was taking a stand. He wasn't disagreeing with that, but he was basically telling her she should have went about it in a different way. That she should have went about it in a different way. And I happen to agree with Steve on that. I agree that she should have went about it in a different way. First of all, I think she got blackballed a little bit because, first of all, if you want people to help you, if you want people to help you and give you an opportunity, the last thing you want to do is get up and publicly bash them. Because if somebody wants me to help them, it'd be just like somebody uh, getting on Facebook and calling me names or bashing me, or somebody come on in my comment section and bash me and call me all kind of names, and then turn around and ask me for some help. I'm gonna be like, huh? Help? You just you just publicly bash me. You just got on YouTube or Facebook and you publicly bash me. Now you want me to help you? And so basically, it's like she wants them to give her some opportunities or whatever, but then she publicly bashed him, which I didn't think that was a good idea. You know, she said she didn't have any regrets for doing that because that was a part of her comedy routine and everything. And Steve was basically telling her that was a no-no. She shouldn't have done that. And I agree with that too. Um, and basically, um, my my thought is this. Black women, unfortunately, we are the worst horrible stereotype women on the planet. And if they get any kind of impression that you have an attitude or you're difficult to work with, then people tend to shy away from giving you opportunities, or they tend to have the tendency to pull away from you. In Hollywood, um, she got blackballed a little bit because she did publicly bash Oprah and them and all that. They're three powerful black people in Hollywood, and they probably, and then Netflix seen that, and then they seen Netflix seen how she was trying to get people to boycott and everything, and so they was probably saying, well, we don't even want to work with her because, and then other places was probably saying they didn't want to work with her because, okay, well, now she seems like she's difficult to work with. She might bash us and all that kind of stuff. And I was thinking in terms of, I was marinating on that, and I was thinking in terms of on our level, black people, just everyday black people on our level. It's like if you have issues with your employer. Um, for example, if I have an issue with my employer, regarding whether it's regarding wages or work conditions or whatever, the last thing I'm going to do is go on Facebook and publicly bash my employer. I'm not going to, because if I do that, first of all, I can be fired, and and second of all, you could actually be sued for slander. It's called slander. If you get on and you bash a company or whatever on Facebook or social media, they can literally take you to court for slander. They can sue you for slander. So that's a serious thing. I know I make it a personal policy to not bash past employers or current employers on Facebook. You know, if I can't say anything positive, I just don't say anything at all. Um, and because you have to be you have to be really careful, and that's like on our level. If I have an issue with my employer, I'm not going to go on Facebook and I'm not going to publicly bash them. I'm going to go to them like a mature, intelligent black woman, and sit down and talk to them about the issues that I'm having with the company, regarding whether it's regarding pay or work conditions or whatever. And I'm just going to sit down in an intelligent, calm manner. I'm not going to go in there cussing and hollering, cussing and raising my voice and being all loud so they can hear me all over the whole building and everything. I'm not going to go in there with this big old huffy attitude or anything like that. Because when they see that, when they see you, and you a black woman now, mind you, you a black woman now, and they already got these things going on in their head. So you got to come correct, because that you already, got the stereotype on you. You got to come correct. There's a certain way you have to approach it. Like if I got issues with my employer, I know, well, I know how to talk to people. You know, I know how to talk to people, so I don't have no issue with that. So it's just a certain way that you have to go in there and you have to approach the situation. Well, okay, well, I am having an issue with A, B, and C. And sit down and talk to your employer in a calm, intelligent manner. Then they're going to hear what you have to say. But if you come in there with an attitude and all that, and then particularly if you're raising your voice, and please, God forbid, don't cuss. Because first of all, they're going to be like, okay, well, all they're going to hear is they're going to see your attitude and pick up your demeanor and all that, and then you're cussing and raising your voice and all that. First of all, they're going to say, well, there's the door. You can hit it on the way out if you got, if you got that much of an issue. I'm not finna argue with you, you know. And so they're not going to hear whatever you got to say, whatever your complaints are. They're not really going to hear that because you came in there with an attitude, loud, cussing, all that kind of stuff. So that's basically what Monique did. She got up on stage, she bashed these three powerful people in Hollywood, and and now it's like she kind of got like blackballed there for a while. And so that was basically what Steve was telling her, that she should have went about it in a different way, that she shouldn't have never done that. And it's just like it's the same as for black people across the board, in all levels and all walks of life. And okay, the point that I was making in this other person's video on YouTube that was talking about the same subject, the point that I was making was, this was my point here. And I think this is what Steve was trying to say in so many words, but he was trying to, because they were talking in front of a studio audience, and he's in front of millions of viewers on TV. He was trying to break it down, you know, he was trying to word it in a certain way. But my thought was, us black people, we have to go outside the community to get a job. Every time I look for a job, I have to go outside my community to look for a job. Particularly in the city I'm in, there is virtually no black-owned businesses, and I can't go to a black employer here in my town and ask for a job. Most of the time, I have to go outside my community to ask. In most cases, 9 times out of 10, the white people are the owners of the company or wherever it is that I'm trying to get a job, and we have to go outside our community and ask the white people for a job. That's always been the case for me. I've always worked for white employers. I've never worked for a black employer. All my employers have all been white. And so when if you don't have your own business, and you don't have your own business, you don't have your own. Oprah got her own thing going on. Tyler got his own thing going on. Lee got his own thing going on. Okay, Monique doesn't. That's the difference. Monique has to go to other people. And who owns Hollywood? Who runs Hollywood? I mean, predominantly white people run Hollywood. So, I mean, that's just the reality. And so she has to go to them and ask for opportunities. And she has to go to Oprah or Lee Daniels or Tyler Perry or whatever. She may not be asking them for opportunities, but they're the three most powerful black people in Hollywood. But when she's looking for an opportunity or for a job, she has to go to white Hollywood. Who's running Netflix? Not no black people. Okay, so these are the people that she has to go to get a job. So it's a certain way that you have to approach things, because you have to, and it's the same for all black people on all levels and walks of life. We in most cases have to go outside our community to ask the white people for a job. So it's a certain way that we have to carry ourselves. It's a certain way that we have to approach things. Unless you are able to have, now Oprah, she got her own thing going on. Okay. Tyler, he got his own thing going on. Unless you are able to create your own opportunities, you are able to, as a black person, to go out and start your own business, then you got a little bit more freedom. You got more freedom to voice your opinion or whatever like that, whatever you want to do. Um, if Monique was able to book her own shows, was able to create, perhaps maybe start her own production company, or uh, create opportunities for herself to the point to where she didn't need Netflix. She didn't need White Hollywood to give her these opportunities. She created them for herself. Okay, so she got a little bit. She got some leeway. She can get up there and she can talk a little junk if she's got her own production company, or she has her own. It's like Spike Lee, and he by the way, congratulations to Spike Lee for winning the Oscar. He won the Oscar. Um, Spike Lee got his own thing going on, so he was able to express his opinion about what his opinions were about White Hollywood and how it works, and everything like that. Because we all know that there's a lot of racism in Hollywood. Of course, it's everywhere. But Monique doesn't. She has not been able to secure opportunities for herself. She hasn't been able to build her own empire, so to speak. When she goes to get a job, she got to go to either the powerful black folks, or the white people, which white people are running Hollywood, to ask for her opportunities so she can eat and provide for her family. So basically, what Steve was telling her is, because you have to do that, you have to go about it in a different way. It's not about being a coon. It's not about being a sellout. But it's just I mean it is what it is. It is what it is, and it's the same principle. That same principle applies to every black person in America on all levels, even our level. Because, like I said earlier, if I got an issue with my employer, it's a certain way that I got to approach it. Because I didn't came to them for a job. Okay, I don't have my own business. I'm not in a position to where I can create my own opportunities right now. Whereas if I lost my job, I can earn my own money. I'm not in that position. Maybe I'm hoping, my goal is to get into that position one day, but to face facts, I'm not in that position right now. If I lose my job, then I'm gonna be messed up. And I'm going to have to go looking for another job. And so, you coming, you going, I'm coming to them for a job. I didn't came to them for a job. So it's a certain way that I have to approach things. It's a certain way that I have to, if I got issues, it's a certain way that I have to approach it. It's not about being a coon. It's not about kissing behind. It's not about being a sellout. It's about using common sense. When when somebody else has um has control over your livelihood, it's a certain way you got to approach him. You got to talk to him, and that's basically what Steve was saying. Because Monique has not created her own opportunities. That's just the reality of the situation. She doesn't have her own production company. She's not able to create her own opportunities. She's got to go outside her community, like a lot of us black folks do, and ask the white people for a job. So in her case, white Hollywood, uh, rich black, the rich black people. And those are the people that she have to go ask for opportunities. Okay, so it's a certain way that she has to approach it. It's a certain way that she has to approach things, and she's a certain way that she has to carry herself, because, and that's basically what I was saying in this blog, well, on this other person's video. And then the person responded to me, spoken like a true slave. And that's what some black people got from it. Some black people, and Steve was saying, basically saying that he wasn't going to compromise his opportunities and his money, his livelihood, to make a point. And people took that as, you know, you know, that he was willing to sell his integrity for, to make some money. And that's not what he was saying. He was basically saying that he wasn't going to mess up his opportunities trying to make a point when there is a different way that you can go about it. You can make your point and still make your coins. That was basically what he was saying. He wasn't disagreeing with her. He agreed with the fact that yeah, we all can agree that Netflix played her cheap. They did play her cheap. And I can understand her speaking out against that and everything. I commend her for that, but it was a different way that she could have approached it, and that's basically what Steve was saying. And it's not about being a sellout. It's not being a coon. It's just using common sense. You can still say what you got to say and still and say I don't feel this was right or whatever A, B, and C, and go about it in the right appropriate way without bashing people, without name calling and berating people, and still be able to make your coin. Because for a minute there, she got blackballed. Because, like I said, black women, we're the most horribly stereotyped women on the planet. And the white folks get the slightest impression that you gonna be difficult. They're not going to want to be bothered with you. And that's on all levels, even on my level. Okay, so it's a certain way we got to carry ourselves when I go to work, and this has been the same principle on every single job that I have had. It is a certain way that I got to carry myself, that we have to conduct ourselves, because if they get the slightest impression you gonna have too much of an attitude, you're gonna be difficult, then opportunities can be cut short. Okay, that's just the way it is. It's not about being a coon. It's not about being a sellout. It's just about, and if you got issues with your employer, it's a way to approach it. It's just, and that's basically what Steve was saying. He never said she was wrong, but he was just saying that it was a certain way that she could have went about it. And then he was talking about how she wanted folks to boycott Netflix or whatever, that she didn't give people a point of reference, and that was a good point too. And he was talking about how her problem was a rich people problem. Um, um, because I think basically what he was saying was, to the average person, $500,000 is a lot of money. Um, but I think it's a lot of money. Netflix can give me $500,000. But you got to look at it from Monique's perspective. Monique has had television shows. Um, she's quite accomplished. She of course she won that Oscar for Precious. She's quite accomplished and everything, and she's had two television shows. She had her own talk show. She had her own sitcom that she did numerous episodes on. So Monique is very established in the business, and so Monique is worth more than $500,000. She's worth more than that. So yeah, I definitely understand her beef, and I agree with her 100%. But basically, Steve was saying that that's rich people's problems, and so and that's if to say to her in so many words that $500,000 to your average person is a lot of money, and some people were saying she should have went on and took it. Well, if it's a difference between you paying your rent, not paying your rent, paying your bills, not paying your bills, I don't know. But I definitely understood why she declined it and everything, and yeah, because they did play her cheap. They did play her cheap. And I happen to think that she's way more funnier than Amy Schumer. I don't think Amy Schumer is funny at all. But I digress. But he was just basically saying that it's just a certain way she had to go about it. And so she went to call, and she bashed him after the conversation, and he told her towards the end of the conversation that he was going to get those three people together and they could sit down, and he said, I'm gonna try to get them together, because she had a problem with him getting up there saying that he couldn't deal with her because she messed things up, and then she had a problem with him not calling her, and he admitted that, I'm sorry, I was wrong, I should have called you, and everything like that, and he did apologize for that. And then towards the end of the show, he did tell her that, I'm going to get these three people together so you guys can sit down and talk this thing out like intelligent adults, like, that's not what he said, but in so many words, so you can talk this thing out and everything, because basically it's a communication issue. Monique is not communicating. She's not communicating with Oprah. She's not communicating with Lee Daniels, and she's not communicating with Tyler. She's saying all this stuff publicly to us, the public, but she's not communicating with them. And that's what she needs to do. She needs to sit down and have a talk with them, and talk to them in an intelligent manner, which I know she knows how to do, and explain to her what her issues are with them, and then they can give back some feedback to her, apologize, or whatever it is that they want to do. So that's basically what Steve was trying to say. And then why she get on social media the next day and she bashed him, and she made references to certain things in history and compared him to that, and said he was a coon and all that stuff. Now she done did the same thing to him that she done did to Oprah and Lee and Tyler, which is not a good idea. I mean, and then but she wants Steve to help her. Steve said he was gonna basically help her and get these people together. Now he's not gonna be motivated to do anything for her because she got up there and she bashed him. And then at the end of the show, she was there, and she's saying, my brother, and all this stuff, and all this kind of stuff. And she was all cool with him and everything. And then she gets up there and she does that. So Monique is just basically being messy at this point. She's just being messy. And I just don't think that I agree with Steve in the fact that she's not going about things in the right way. She's not going about things the right way. She's bashing people. Like I said, if I was to get on Facebook, I had an issue with my employer, and if I was to get on Facebook and bash my employer, then my employer is going to be ready to fire me. That's with any employer. People have gotten fired because of that. So instead of coming to them, communicating with them, and say and sitting down and telling them, and the director at my job, she's very approachable. She's very approachable, but she just wants you to come to her with respect. She's just like anybody else. She wants you to approach her with respect. I would want somebody to approach me with respect if they got an issue with me. Okay? Don't come to me blazing. Calling, name calling, or whatever like that. It's just like people come on my in my comment section and they call me all kind of names and everything. If they disagree with me, it's okay if you disagree. It's fine. You don't have to agree with everything I say. But there's a way to express it without name calling and bashing me. Because when I see that, the first thing I want to do is I just want to delete it. I'm not even going to finish reading the paragraph. There's some people that have put like a long paragraph in there, and in the beginning they say, you ugly, this and that and other, and then maybe some cuss words. And when I read that, delete. I don't even finish reading. I don't even finish reading the paragraph. So, but I'm more inclined to hear you out, to read your opinion and read your point of view. Um, if you express it to me, you come to me in an intelligent manner, like a mature, intelligent adult, and explain to me why you disagree. And then I'll read what you had to say, and then I might see some valid, good points in there. You know, so that's the same goes for anybody. Nobody wants to be disrespected. So it's a certain way that if she disagreed with Steve, then she could have waited till after the show and further and continued the conversation and said, well, I disagree with you, Steve, because of A, B, and C. I disagree with what you said because of A, B, and C. And I think I feel like you're being kind of coonish. You know, she could have expressed that to him after the show, but she didn't. It's a lack of communication. Monique is not communicating. And this is the problem. She be having beefs with people, and then she gets up publicly and bash them instead of communicating to them. And so that's it. That's a problem. That's the issue. And they're not gonna want to help her if that's what she doing. Why would I want to help somebody that's bashing me? Okay? You call me names and stuff, but then you want me to turn around and help you. I had a friend that a while back ago, years ago, she come to stay with me for a while. I might tell that story one day. It's a long story. Anyway, she had a drinking problem and all this kind of stuff. Very, very toxic. I might tell that story one day to make a long story short. She sat at my kitchen table drinking, berating me in my own house. But yet she still wanted me to help her. By that time I was like, you know what, you can get out my house. Okay? And then so she was going back and forth to her boyfriend's house at the time, trying to come to my house. And then when she went to his house and wanted to come back at my house, guess what I said? No, you cannot come back. How you gonna sit in my house at my table and bash me in my own house, but you want me to turn around and help you? How, excuse me? That's making a long story short. That's what she did. I'm like, And then she got mad at me when I told her she couldn't come back. Would you let you come back? I might tell that story one day. It's a long story. But I mean, you guys kind of see what I'm saying, okay? You're not going to be motivated to help somebody if they're publicly bashing you or even bashing you personally. In her case, she's publicly bashing these people and she's not communicating with them. Not a good idea. So let me know in the comment section what you guys took from the conversation. That's what I took from it. Let me know respectively what you think about it. In the comment, sound off in the comment section. I got some more interesting video topics coming up, so stay tuned. Like, subscribe, and share my video. This is Sweet June.